Hello friends, good morning and welcome to this new class. And as you are aware about the new topic that we are beginning, the new subject that we are beginning is geography, and we studied about resources, and we said how important a resource is. Everything that has got a value or usefulness can be said as a resource, and therefore there is hardly anything we can say is absolutely useless. For you it may be useless, but it can be useful for someone else. So one way or another, for one person or another, there may be some kind of usefulness for an object, so it becomes a resource. And we said human beings are the most important resource, because if human beings are not there, all the other resources will not be useful and will not be able to make use of it. Therefore, human beings are the most important resource. Using the intellect and the skill, human beings are able to make use of most of the objects and make it useful thing. It is make it a useful thing for human beings, for the society, and so on. And today, let us see about the types of resources. There are different types of resources are there, and let us see what are they or which are they. So we can mainly say that human being the resources can be divided into three. First one is natural. We can say divide into three. One is natural. Second one is human made. And third one is human itself. So three types of resources: natural resources, human made resources, and human resources. These are the three types of resources. Then let us see one by one. Let us see first what is natural resource. So resources that are drawn from the nature and used without much modification are called natural resources. You can underline in your textbook what is a natural resource. So resources that are found from the nature and used without much modification. So as we find or as we get from the nature, we are using it. We are not modifying it, we are not changing it, or we are not improving the quality. As it is, we are using it. For example, the air we breathe. So we are getting the air from the nature and we are just breathing it as it is. We are not modifying it. So that air is a natural resource. The same way, the water in our rivers and the lakes, as we get the water from the river, we are using it. We are not making something else, but we are using the water directly. Or the soil that is available, we go and cultivate in the soil. And the minerals, and they are all natural resources. So all these things that we find in the nature, air, water, the minerals, all these are natural resources we are using as it is. Then many of these resources are free gifts of nature. So we need to remember they are free gifts of nature. Which are they? Water, air, soil, minerals, all these are free gifts of nature. We are not creating soil, we are not creating water, or we are not creating minerals. All these are gifts of the nature. Then and in some cases, tools and technology may be needed to use a natural resource in the best possible way. For sometimes or for some natural resources, we are not able to use directly. We need the help of something. We need to use the tools, we need to use the technology so that we will be able to make it. For example, the minerals that are under the earth, we cannot just go and take it. We need to use certain technology. We need to dig deep with the help of machines, with the help of technology, and we have to go deep down and find out the minerals. So those things, we need the technology, we need the help of science and technology. Then these natural resources are classified into different groups again, depending on their level of development and use, origin, stock and distribution. So these natural resources, we said resources are divided into three: natural, human-made and human beings. Now this can be divided again into so many groups based on the level of development. Based on the level of development, how it is developing, at what level it is developing, we can divide into different. Then based on how we use them, we can divide them into different groups. Or based on the origin, how these resources are originating, based on that we can divide them into different groups. Or based on the stock means stocking up. So how much is the stock? Is it very little? Is it plenty? So accordingly we can divide them into many groups. Or based on the distribution, how it is distributed. Some places it is plenty, some places very little. So it is not equally distributed everywhere. So based on the distribution we can divide them again. Now let's see based on the level of development. So on the basis of their development, there means the resources. So based on the level of development, the resources can be divided into two groups: actual resource and potential resource. So one is actual and potential. Actual and potential. Actual resources and potential resources. Then what is actual resources? Actual resources are those resources whose quantity is known. So when we say it is an actual resource, we know the quantity, we know how much is there. For example, we found out on certain location there is resources available, natural resources available, and then we use the modern technology and find out how much is the quantity, available there. It is deep down under the earth, but with the help of technology we are able to find out how much is available there. So if we are able to find out how much it is there, then it is called actual resources. Then these resources are being used in the present. So once we know that how much is there, we can start using it, and we are using it at present. So actual resources are being used at present. Then the rich deposits of coal in Ruhr region of Germany and the petroleum in the West Asia, the dark soils of the Deccan Plateau in Maharashtra are all actual resources. So some examples of actual resources where we have found out the actual quantity of the resources available. For example, the deposits of coal in the Ruhr region in Germany, there are big coal fields are there. They have identified it and they have found out how much is the quantity, how much is the amount of coal available there, and they start using it. Then another example is the petroleum products in West Asia. So in the West Asian countries, the Gulf countries, we have calculated how much of petroleum minerals are there under the earth. It is calculated how long it is going to last, how many liters or how many barrels we are able to take it out. So it is very clearly notified, and that is example of actual resource. We are already aware how much is available there. Or even in India, Maharashtra, we have one black soil. So that is also a resource, a mineral taken out for making something. So it is, the quantity is known, the amount of the total black soil available there in the Deccan Plateau, it is known to us, and therefore we can make out how long it is going to last. If we start using at this level or at this rate, how long is it going to last? We know it. So such kind of cases, it is known as actual resources. Then let us see the second one, potential resources. So potential resources are those whose entire quantity may not be known, and these are not being used at present. So just opposite of actual resource is potential resource. The actual resource, we know the total quantity that is available, the total amount that is available. But in the case of potential resources, we are not sure exactly how much is there. Is there plenty or very little? We are not sure. And therefore we have not started using it. The actual resources, we are using it at present, but the potential resources we are not using at present. It will be kept for future use. So long we have not identified how much is the quantity available there, and we have not started using it. We will start using it in the future. Then these resources could be used in the future. So at present we are using actual resources, and when these actual resources are over, we will start using potential resources. Then the level of technology we have at present may not be advanced enough to take out or make use of these potential resources. So one thing why we are not using these potential resources at present is the present day technology may not be there. It may be in a difficult place to take it out. So at present the technology that we have, the machines that we have, that may not be enough to take it out. So we have to wait for some more time, and the technology will develop and we will be able to take it out in the future. So that time the technology may develop. You know, some 200 years ago, the present day technology was not there. So those things we could not use. So what we are using at present, actual resource, those days some 200 years ago, it was a potential resource. But we now, the technology is developed and we started using it, therefore it became actual resource. The same way, the potential resource that we are using, keeping it for future, because we don't have the technology to take it out. The future we will have better technology and they will be able to use it in the future. So when we start using it, potential resource we will call it actual resource. So at present we are not using it, therefore it is called potential resource. For example, the uranium found in Ladakh is an example of potential resource that could be used in future. So in the Ladakh region of Kashmir, there is a uranium deposit, but it is in a complicated place, therefore we are not able to take it out at present. The technology that we have is not sufficient, is not developed properly, therefore we are not able to take it out. So it is kept to the reserve. In the future, our technology will improve, we will find out new technology, then we will start using taking out uranium from the Ladakh region. Then high-speed winds were a potential resource 200 years ago. Let's see one example that before it was potential resource, now it has turned out to be actual resource. For example, we can generate electricity from the wind. The wind is some places so powerful and if you fix a windmill, then you can see the picture here, the windmill. So by performing this, by putting up this, the fan will run, and from there we can generate electricity. So some 200 years ago the wind was there, but we had no technology to trap this wind. No, to trap this wind and convert it into electricity. We did have no technology. But now our science has progressed and we have invented the technology, and therefore those days 200 years ago the wind was a potential resource, and now it has become actual resource. Many places we start setting up windmills in order to trap this wind energy and convert into electricity. Then today we have wind as an actual resource, and wind farms generate energy using windmills like in Netherlands. So one country that is using windmill or making use of this windmill in a large way is Netherlands. The country Netherlands is very expert, or they are very much developed in converting wind energy to electricity. Then you will find some Nagarcoil in Tamil Nadu and on the Gujarat coast. So India also is slowly started trapping this wind energy. So we have in two places, one in Tamil Nadu, a place called Nagarcoil, and another one is in Gujarat near the sea coast. So these two places they have set up the windmill in order to convert this wind energy into electricity. So those days it was a potential energy, and now it has become an actual energy, actual resource we are able to use at present. So that is the two types of resources based on the natural resource. Natural resource is divided into actual resource and potential resource. Actual resource means we already identified it and we know how much is the quantity and we are using it at present. And just opposite is the potential resources. We are not sure how much is the quantity available there, and we don't have the developed technology in order to take it out, in order to extract this. So it remains there. In the future, when our technology is improving, we will be able to make use of it. So one example for actual energy, actual resource turning into potential resource is wind energy. So some 200 years ago, nobody knew how to make use of the wind. So it was a potential energy. Those days we did not have the technology developed. Therefore, nobody was able to make use of it. But now, after 200 years, the technology is developed and we are able to make use of this technology in order to convert this wind energy into another energy, into electricity and so on. So, many of the potential resources now, in the future it will become actual resource, because we will find out new technology, we'll be able to make use of it for future purpose and we'll be able to make use of it. Now, shall we say based on the origin, we can divide this one into abiotic and biotic. So from the name itself we can make out. So based on the origin, how these resources are originating, based on the origin we can divide them into two. One is abiotic, another one is biotic. So abiotic means which has no life. No, in the nature we will find things that are alive and things that are not alive. So abiotic means not alive. So things that are coming from that is not alive, that is called abiotic. Then abiotic resources are non-living. Abiotic resources are non-living, while biotic resources are living. So that's the main difference between abiotic is not having life, biotic means having life. For example, soil, rock, minerals are abiotic. So they have no life. Soil, minerals, rock, all these are minerals but without life. Therefore, they are called abiotic. Abiotic. Those are not alive. So rock, soil, and so is example for abiotic. Then plants, the trees, the animals, they are all biotic resources because they have got life. So which are the resources that are having life? Biotic resources are having life, and abiotic life, they are not having life. Example for abiotic resources are, you can say, rock, soil, the minerals that we are getting from under the earth, they all have no life. But on the other hand, biotic resources have got life. For example, the animals that are moving around, the trees, though they are not moving around, they are growing. Therefore, they also have got life. So, human beings, what kind of resources are we? Biotic or abiotic? So, we are also having life, is it not? So, human beings are also biotic animals. So, we shall wind up for today. So, remember these resources are divided into three: natural resources, human-made resources, and human beings itself. And now especially we are studying about natural resources, and natural resources can be divided into different groups based on different ideas or processes. So based on the availability, based on the level of development, we can say, based on the level of development, we can say there are two: actual and potential. Then based on the origin, we can say there are abiotic and biotic resources. So we'll continue in the next class. So I request you to read the lessons nicely and understand nicely, and if you are still any doubt, you are most welcome to contact me. So thank you for listening. Have a nice day. Bye.